Hey guys, welcome back to the show. In this episode, I have a really special guest with us today. Her name is Cecilia Castleman. Hi Cecilia, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for coming on the show today.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. So please introduce yourself and maybe sing a few lines from your latest album.
Sure, I'm Cecilia Castleman. I just put out a record. I guess I'll just sing this one a cappella. It's called It's All Right. It's the starting track on the album. And yeah, it goes like this. I don't need your money. I don't need your time. So I bought a ticket. I bought a ticket to ride and I don't know why. That's It's All Right.
Yeah, thank you. That sounded lovely. So everyone out there listening to this episode right now, make sure to check out her debut album. It is self-titled and it's out as of now. So please tell me, how's the experience working with Don West?
Dawn, working with Dawn was the coolest thing ever. I got to go out to LA and spend a month with him and the bandmates there, and he's one of the coolest people I've ever um, met and gotten to know in my life, and I learned so much from Dawn, and it was such an incredible experience. Yeah, he's the best.
Yeah, I mean, like I did some reading on him, right? I mean, he's worked with Bob Dylan, Elton John, the Rolling Stones, and is a six-time Grammy winner, right? And so just hearing his story and seeing how he's just doing everything, and I feel like with producers, right, they often are very picky with the people they work with, and I think your work truly shows his producing skills because he has this unique style that is often shown in, like, that's why, like, when I was listening to your music and when I just heard your snippet right now, it sounded a lot like Bob Dylan, John Mayer mixed together.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, Dawn is really good at like enhancing an artist's sound without changing them, musically or um yeah, I mean all of those artists that he's worked with, they're very um I don't know, they just it's them and they're so, their individuality is unmatched and so it was lucky that he didn't really try to change who I was as a musician or as an artist. He was just kind of there and he enhanced like all the demos I made. So it was really cool to watch and I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, I mean, like, as you mentioned, right, with the producers and like really just anyone you work with in the industry, that's one thing that not a lot of artists agree with. Sometimes the people you work with try to change every aspect of you, which, I mean, in some cases it's good. Maybe you do need that extra support or that extra thing where you change things. But as you mentioned, being able to stand on your own feet and staying authentic to yourself while also fulfilling his vision for your project is very cool and important.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I was lucky to get to work with him and I learned so much and yeah, he sort of creates such a zen environment for like us and the musicians and he's good at just lifting people up. There's no I don't know, musicians sometimes you walk in and you never know what mood everyone's going to be in and when you're around Dawn, you can't be anything but sort of happy and calm and I think it sort of shows in the record. It's sort of like a calm, I mean it rocks sometimes, but pretty, it's pretty I don't know, it's just sort of even and it just is kind of dreamy and that's what I wanted and that's what sort of the mood of the room was, is everyone was sort of kind of chill and yeah, it was nice.
So, what's your favorite part of the music making process and why?
Oh gosh, all of it. I mean, it's really interesting to see a song come to life. I mean, I write all the songs in the record I wrote in my room, or I wrote with a friend of mine, Daniel Tash, at his studio, and he's right down the street from me. So I think the process of a song coming into fruition and just like having a song and just playing it on your guitar by yourself in your room to it being played over really, really nice speakers with incredible musicians on it. It's sort of that's like very, very magical to me. But I love writing. I think I'll always feel the most content when I have a really a new song that I'm proud of, and I like to write. That's what I love to do.
Yeah, I mean, like the joy. I mean, like you can't really have a song until you have the lyrics, right? I mean, sometimes the music, the melody, and all those things come before for some artists, but I feel like the lyrics are the most fun part, even for me to write and like discover like stories and like explore the community and figure out what's next.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. That's like the one thing I want to get better at and grow at is just is writing better songs. Because it's so endless. So,
Agreed. So, I mean, this is kind of like a deeper question beyond just the artistic thing, more like a personal and just in general. But what does success mean to you as an artist and just a person in general?
oh goodness. I think I feel the most successful. Gosh, it's hard because I'm always um I don't know, I accomplish something and I don't really take it in. I'm always like on to the, well, what can I do next, you know? But
Hmm.
I think success for me, I mean, I just put out this record, and even if somebody says, you know, hey, I just listened to it, I like this song, or even if they just like one song on the record, or even a part of one song on the record, I think that's like a win in my book. That is just people take the time to just click play. Um, that is success to me. But I think I don't know. I want to like grow my live audience. I want to start playing bigger shows and um, that kind of stuff. I think I'll feel successful then. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I'm super grateful for everything, and I just turned 24, and I have such a long way to go. But I mean, everything that's good, you know, even if I get, you know, a part of a song one day, or I don't know, even the bad days, you know, there's always something good that happens in those. So yeah.
Yeah, I love that mindset. I think, just like working on your craft and just like, improving things we're good at and then building off of that. Because even for me, like I find myself constantly thinking about the future, what's next? It's the big question all the time, right? We do not celebrate our many successes or big successes even and are constantly fighting and running towards the new things, right? So you talking about just like, doing what you love and just following your dreams is very important.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, and it's not like an easy, I mean, it's not an easy thing to do. It's like hard to wake up and have you know that like confidence is a big thing for me. Like gaining confidence to go out and be myself and not compromise and I compare a lot, and that's just like the worst thing to do is compare your career to somebody else's because everybody's so different and but yeah, it's just like taking it day by day and my old teacher when I went to school, he was like, you know, just try to get 1% better every day if you can. And that was like an advice that I really took to heart and it makes things a little easier and I get overwhelmed pretty easily. So when I think of it like that, it helps me for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely hit the right note there. I mean, no pun intended. um, but I feel like the comparison trap is always there. Like it's easier said than done, like stop comparing yourself, stop overthinking, stop um thinking about the future. Like these are easy things to be told to someone. I tell these things to people who suffered. I tell that to myself, but it's not that easy as you mentioned. You have to kind of break the cycle one day by day, right? Take one step at a time and go percentage by percentage, right? And it's a long process. It's not an overnight process that can be done in just a matter of seconds, because if that was the case, we would not have so many people struggling with mental health, the comparison trap, perfectionism, and all those things, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Um, and it's really interesting to me because like all the musicians that I love and People go, the whole reason I think writing is it's a form of therapy. And so everyone is like, they have something to say because they've been through something and they have those stories to tell. And so to go through something, whether it's hard or, whatever you go through that gives you the inspiration or the need to write and get your feelings out, to then have to wake up and put a smile on your face and be like, well, I can do this. It's like it's not easy. And yeah, it takes time. And I think like, for good things do take time. And yeah.
Agreed, agreed. I mean, everything, I feel like this whole episode, we have been talking about the comparison trap and success and like the process, like what part you love. And it's actually all about that. I mean, when you do the things you love, you're doing the things that make you happy. And of course, sometimes that's not the case. Like sometimes you're doing something you love, but it doesn't make you happy. You feel kind of conflicted. But kind of piggybacking off of that, like if you could give any advice to aspiring singer-songwriters, musicians, or really just any creative out there, what would your advice be for them?
Sure. Gosh, I mean, I think I wouldn't try to change for anyone else, which is really hard, sort of the compromising aspect, because it's so easy to look at someone who's doing well on social media and be like, well, maybe I should be doing that, or like at the end of the day, it's like it's the music that is, um, I don't know, just the music is always the most important thing, and I think as long as you feel the music, it'll I don't know, you'll find your way, and you'll people will, resonate with it along the way. And I think just, don't compromise and be yourself. And I think, that getting 1% better every day, taking things slowly and steady. And somebody told me, if you're take 24 hours to always before you make a decision about something. Like it's okay to take a day before you say yes or no to something. Um, that one helped me a lot too. So I don't know that there's so much stuff I could say, but it would probably be those three things.
Wow, that was actually amazing. I mean, I feel like these three things have been told to people all the time, but it's really, again, this whole thing that we've been talking about, it's always really hard to implement, right? I mean, as mentioned earlier, you mentioned the 10% rule and the 24-hour rule. I feel like 24-hour rule will definitely help me. It's like so hard sometimes. Like you make decisions on a whim, right? Or you make decisions as an impulsive thought that comes in your head. So like doing these kind of things will not only help your creative lifestyle, but also your normal personal lifestyle, which I think is really important.
Oh, for sure, yeah. And it's like, sometimes I try to, listen to all those things that people say to me, but sometimes it's just so hard because I don't know. I love what I do so much, and I want to do well, and I try to work really hard. But sometimes I have to take a step back and look at a bird's eye view and be like, will this benefit me, 10 years down the road? Or like, it's all just building blocks, and you build and you build and you build. And um, it's normally never like one thing that happens to, put a jump in your career. It's to me, it's like a bunch of little things that compile it together that gets you on to the next step, and so on and so forth. But yeah, it's interesting for sure. But the music is always, I don't know, the music is what is the driving factor in it all. I feel like if you don't have like good songs, I don't know, good songs are the most important thing, and that's what like makes me feel, things. And I think that's what, I don't know. I just love writing so much, and I get excited about the music.
Yeah, I mean, I 100% agree with everything you said. And I just want to thank you so much for taking out the time to be on the show with us today.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me. This was fun.
Yeah, of course. Everyone listening to this episode, as mentioned in the start, Cecilia Castleman has her debut self-titled album out everywhere, so make sure to check that out. I'll be linking her website and her Spotify account in the show notes, so be sure to check that out too. Anyways, that's the end of the episode, everybody. I hope you learned something new, and I'll see you all next time. Tanika Goyle out.